So I got a very special video for you today. So a couple months ago, I built a new PC, like a new, kind of like dream PC, that was really good for like video editing and content creation, especially gaming focused content creation. I got like pretty much all the best stuff. And I wanted to do a PC build video, but I've never done one of these before. So it's actually taken me a long time. Like most of this was filmed way back in May. And I've just been trying to get this all down into like a, viewable format because I had over 12 hours of footage and tried to just edit it down into a few minutes so it's like watchable, and added some commentary over it to kind of explain like what these parts and stuff do. And I'm just going to put up a list of the parts I have. I will explain them more in detail why I chose these parts and stuff, and after I chose like the actual build and stuff, I will see you on the other side and we'll talk about like some more stuff. Anyway, thank you for watching, and here's the build. For the motherboard, I'm going with the ASUS Z890 Apex motherboard. I think this is a really beautiful board. It's also just a 2-DIMM board, so it should give you better memory stability. It also has this PS2 port for my keyboard, which I'll actually use. I'm going to be pairing this with an Intel Ultra 9 285K. This is a really good CPU for creators, and new with this generation is QuickSync AV1, which I plan to use for recording and streaming in OBS. So now it's time for the hard part where I have to put the CPU in the socket. I mean, it's not hard so much as it's always one of those things that makes me nervous because it's easy to mess up if you don't know what you're doing. Like, there's a lot of little fragile pins that the CPU has to sit on top of in the motherboard, and it's really easy to break them and ruin the entire motherboard. So you just have to be careful to stop and take your time. I'm also going to be using this thermal right contact frame in place of the independent loading mechanism just to get a bit better mount with my cooler. For the RAM, we're going with 48 gigabytes of Kingston Renegade Fury DDR5 8400. These are CU DIMMs, which should give me better memory performance and stability. So for the case, I'm using a Lian 011 Dynamic Evo. This is the 2021 version of the Evo, and it's actually a black case, but I replaced the stock black panels with white ones. I also installed some custom art panels. I was always a big fan of Luca from Ar Tonelico II and thought it'd be fun to build a PC around her, and had some custom illustrations made. I think these panels came out really nice and look great in this case. The next thing I do is install the motherboard into the case. Actually, I got ahead of myself. I needed to put the mount for my AIO on the back of the motherboard first, so I had to take the motherboard out, install it, and then put it back in again. Also, my AIO is the Lian Li HydroShift 360. Because of this mess up, I ended up unboxing it off screen, so sorry about that, but I was trying to get a bit frustrated at this point. The power supply I'm going to be using for this build is the Superflower LUTX 7 Pro XP. It's a 1200 watt power supply. Yeah, this power supply though, I actually really like this one because it has like all these like universal cables, so it's pretty much like you can plug the GPU or the CPU or whatever into which any of those sockets you want. Like only the motherboard is set to a certain one, so I find this one kind of nice to work with in that regard. It was probably a mistake to install it at this point though, because I eventually end up having to uninstall and remove everything because I end up having to redo all the cabling and stuff, but it is what it is. It's part of the process. But speaking of mistakes, I make another one here when I'm installing fans to the radiator of my AIO. As I said before, I have the Lian Li HydroShift Bring Your Own Fans version, so I brought these reverse blade SL Infinity fans for it, and when I was installing them, somehow I grabbed like one of my non-reverse blade fans and ended up putting in the middle of this 3-piece here, and so I ended up installing my radiator with one of its fans backwards. At least the rest of the cooler installation went smoothly without any issues, so there's that. But we're finally to the best part. The GPU. This GPU is special. It's an RTX 5090, but not just any 5090. It's the Gigabyte Waterforce AIO card. This is the thinnest and shortest 5090 they make, and I got this one specifically because it will work the best for this build, and I got a nice, beautiful custom backplate with Luca on it to go with it. V1 Tech gave me this little like magnet set to secure the backplate, but it was not working for me, probably because the screws are like indented. So I pulled out some double-sided tape to secure it instead, and I'm pretty sure I used way more double-sided tape than I needed, and well, we can definitely be sure that this card is secure, that the backplate's secure on this card, and it's not gonna fall off, so there's that. But it does look great. Now, we can finally install it. I didn't mention it before, but the tubes on the GPU are actually black, but I wrapped them in some white paracord so they would match the build better. Now it's in, and it's starting to look really good. However, there's one more thing I need to do, and that is install some fans on the radiator for my GPU's AIO. Obviously, it comes with its own fans, but because we're going for a whitish build, I'm going to install these white Lian Li SL Infinity fans. And after spending way too much time messing around with cables, I finally get it all together. But there's one more thing missing. That's right, I got an official Luca Trulywaath figure by Max Factory for this build. It's kind of a bit bigger than you'd normally want for a figure for a PC build, but this is the only official Luca Trulywaath figure ever made, so we're gonna make it work. Instead of using the full stand, I end up attaching it sideways and then having it attached to the motherboard power cable, and then I use a bit of tape discreetly to kind of secure it in place. And with that, this build is finally done. Alright, so I'm so glad I got this done. This was a long process for me. I had over 12 hours of footage, and it took me a long time to kind of scrub through it and edit it down into something that I consider watchable. But I think the computer came out super nice. The art panels from Sayuui all came out really nice. Like I said, they're by V1 Tech, and they're illustrators of Sayuui. I'll have her stuff linked down below, as well as V1 Tech if you want to order your own custom art panels. But I mean, it just looks so beautiful, and I'm so glad I went with the action figure, because I wasn't sure, because it's tall. I had to like kind of find my own solution to actually mount it, because with the default stand it's just way too tall. But I was able to get it done. And yeah, it looks amazing. And yeah, this is gonna probably be my PC for like the next 4 years. It's actually pretty good for video editing as well. Let's go talk about that here. Alright, so here is DaVinci Resolve, where I do all my editing stuff. And like one of the things that I have with the new PC, part of the reason why is like I wanted the 285K because it has the QuickSync AV1, which is what I use to like encode all my video stuff, but it actually seems to help on like the actual like editing stuff, because I'm not using proxies or anything here. I can scrub so cleanly. Like this is like amazing, like how cleanly this scrubs compared to my old PC. My old PC, like I said, we was the i7 12700K, which was actually a pretty decent PC, but we were on a DDR4 board, and I think that's just like throttling me a lot too, because this one has now we have DDR5 RAM on this one, which is a lot faster. We're like running is 8400. Actually, like I said, because it's a 2-DIMM board, we actually run into 8600, slight overclock on it compared to like the thing, which is pretty normal. Like other people I've talked to with like who had the same board and just looking online and stuff, like that's pretty much what most are running at. So but yeah, we are way faster on the RAM, and I think that the difference between 8600 to 3600 to 8600, that's a huge difference, and I think that just makes a difference. And also QuickSync AV1. QuickSync is amazing if you're editing video, but like this scrubs so cleanly. Like instead of having to, like an old PC, like I'd had to do proxy, but even then it'd take like a couple of seconds. If I changed frames, it would be, right, this is pretty close to instant. I mean, not instant, but this is way faster, and it just saves so much time. I mean, if you ever did lots of video editing, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, it could be really stuttery if on a bad PC, but look, this is just so clean. And we're not using proxies at all. This is 4K 60 FPS footage here, and it's just super nice. The other thing that really surprised me with this PC is that if we go to like deliver, like the time it takes to process a video. So my very final episode of Let's Play Hero Wars, it was just 11 minutes to render that video, and it's an hour 15-minute long 4K 60 FPS video, which is ridiculously fast. I mean, if we go just back to the top of this list here, like it took like we have like 35-minute renders, and so a lot of these videos are not as long as the final episode. We're talking, right, the new PC renders videos like 4 to 5 times faster than my old one. I was not expecting. I was expecting to maybe get twice as fast of render time because we have 3 encoders versus just 2. So I was thinking 50% from the 3rd encoder, plus we have the more powerful, like I said, the 5090 is supposed to be about 33% more powerful than a 4090, so I think, okay, those two things will probably double, like, have my render speed, like, pretty much do it twice as fast, or, like, half the time, and, no, we are pretty much, like, 1/4 the time, or 1/5 the time. It is, I'm, like, honestly astonished by how much faster my render time is, and again, I think the CPU and the RAM probably plays a huge role in that. And it's just like I said, this has been a much better PC upgrade than I expected. I mean, I knew it was going to be good. I mean, 4090 to 5090 might not sound like a great upgrade, but for video editing with the 3rd encoder versus 2, it's actually pretty huge. And of course, the 285K, like, it is easily the best CPU for video editors right now. And also things like that, I'm also using the QuickSync AV1 for recording in OBS. That's my rendering. That's the one I use for rendering now, instead of just doing on the GPU. Like, I'll use on my old PC, like, I would render on the GPU with the NVENC encoder, which worked most of the time, but sometimes you'd run into issues like, if I, like, said some of my Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, because I was trying to play that game in 4K 60 and also record at 4K 60, and there'd be a lot of times where, like, I would get these weird, like, artifacts and stuff because the GPU could not quite keep it up. So by putting this onto the CPU, because the 285K has really powerful iGPU in it. It's almost like having like a dedicated encoding GPU that you can put onto. Like, it's like having a second GPU, and it's just so nice, and it means I can record like games at like high resolutions now without like this thing that used to happen on my old PC. Like, this is not a thing that's gonna happen. So yeah, I guess I should probably show you some gameplay footage made on my new PC using the iGPU to record while playing on the new 5090. I'm not like a professional benchmark or anything, but I watched a couple videos on how to do this using the MSI Afterburners, like Riva Tuner, I think it's called. Anyway, let's just start with Baldur's Gate 3. So I have this game running at a resolution of 3840 by 2160 with everything cranked to like the absolute max here. So I'm just going to run through this section in the 3rd act here, where you'll see a lot of NPCs on the screen. You'll see some frame drops, like I said, when there's not a lot of stuff on the screen, we can get like over 100 FPS here. But as you get some areas where there'll be like more NPCs or whatever, you will see some frame drops. Like, especially as we're trying to like turn up here, you see some frame drops here. And
oh, so humbly spoken. Perhaps you are a different breed than the last Mother Superior.
And as we get over here, there will be this explosion that happens here in a second that will drop our frame rate quite a bit. It will drop all the way down to 64 FPS for just a second. Like you see right here, it drops and then goes back up. Not a big issue, especially considering I usually lock my FPS to 60 for games like this. But yeah, no, this performs great and much better than my old system. The next game I've got to test here is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. This is a newer title and a bit more demanding than BG3. And once again, I'm running this at 3840 by 2160 with everything cranked to max. No upscaling, no frame gen or anything like that. You can definitely see we're a bit below 60 FPS here, so I'd probably want to turn down a few settings to get a stable 60, but like, yeah, haven't actually played this game yet. I literally just installed it to do these tests. Like I said, I bought this game a few months ago, but hadn't got around to playing it, but oh my gosh, this game actually looks like it would be a lot of fun. A game that I probably definitely want to play in the near future. Hope to do like a let's play on this channel or something. In this crowded area here, you can definitely see we're getting some frame drops down to like, even like the high 40s in some places. it's definitely playable, but I would probably try to turn down a few settings, get stable 60, especially this game has a turn-based combat system, but it has like timing, and if you want to try to get like frame perfect timings on some like the parries and stuff, you probably want a stable 60, so it's easier to get like frame perfect timings. So that is something I would definitely consider, but you know, again, this is a brand new title from this year, so it's definitely a lot more demanding. And for the last game, I'm going to play a bit of Overwatch 2. I don't really play a lot of esports titles, but I used to play this game. And once again, I have everything cranked up to the absolute max at 3840 by 2160. A lot of people probably wouldn't do this for an esports title, but my monitor only goes to 120 hertz, so I have a feeling we will hit that and then some, so let's see how we do. So I played several matches, and for most part, we are around 300 FPS during like heavy fighting, and the lowest frame rate I ever saw was 269. And when there isn't fighting, we end up going almost all the way up to 500 FPS. I mean, actually, I think there was a couple instances where I was over 500 FPS, like when there's just not a lot happening on screen. This is well over my monitor's refresh rate of 120 hertz, so very, very, very playable, even though we have everything cranked up to max at like what is essentially 4K. So yeah, impressive performance here. Like I said, first time I played Overwatch in like literally years. Probably the last time I play it in the years, but who knows. And that's the video. I know I promised to have this video done a few months ago, but this video ended up being a lot harder to make than I originally thought it would be. So it's taken me months to get it done. So I'm sorry for the wait, but I hope you guys enjoyed it because I feel like the PC came out really nice, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing it. And yeah, if you're interested, I will have like the illustrator who did the art for it link down below. Also link like the company that had actually print them, and I'll also link like I just applied to like the Amazon Associates program, so if you're interested, I will have like links to like all the other items, at least the ones I carry on Amazon, down below. And if you buy anything from those links, I will get a small percentage. I'll even like things like the medical tape and stuff, like, you know, said that would definitely help out the channel if you're actually interested in those products. But yeah, not too much more to say on this one. If you're new to this channel, I mostly do like gaming content here. I do like Let's Plays and stuff. I do like gaming tutorials and stuff. If you're interested in that kind of content, you know, definitely check me out. Subscribe if you want. But yeah, not too much more to say on this. I also did if you're interested, I also did an unboxing for the 5090 GPU. I have my system, like I said, I'll have linked that video down below as well. Anyway, not too much more to say here. I thank you all again, and I'll see you in the next one.